In the heart of the Yoruba kingdom, where the rivers shimmered like mirrors and the air hummed with the voices of ancient ancestors, there lived a young man named Olumide. He was tall, with a strong, athletic build, and his face was the epitome of masculine beauty. His deep-set eyes held an intensity that could pierce the soul, while his chiseled jawline made women sigh in admiration. He was everything that every man aspired to be, and every woman dreamed of. But Olumide's handsomeness was not his greatest mystery. No, that was hidden deep within him, something no one could fathom. A strange and dangerous curse had been passed down to him, though he did not know it at first. Olumide was the son of a powerful chief, renowned for his wisdom and strength. His father, Chief Odeola, had ruled the village with an iron fist, keeping enemies at bay and ensuring prosperity for his people. Olumide had been raised with love, but also with an awareness of the burden of his heritage. His father often warned him about the perils of becoming too proud, too arrogant, like the other men who were quick to boast and live carelessly. "Remember, my son," Chief Odeola would say, "true strength comes from wisdom, not from the body alone." Olumide had always listened, but his vanity sometimes clouded his judgment. He could not deny the power of his appearance. Women swooned at his feet, and men could only stare in envy as he strode through the village, a vision of vitality and virility. But what Olumide did not know was that his beauty was tied to a dark secret, a curse placed upon his bloodline generations ago. It had started with his great-grandfather, a man who was rumored to have had a forbidden affair with a powerful sorceress. In exchange for her favor, the sorceress had bestowed upon him a peculiar gift, unmatched beauty, unmatched strength, but at a great cost. His descendants would be plagued with a curse tied to their manhood, a curse that would grow stronger with each generation. It was said that when the time was right, the curse would manifest in a way that could either lead to their doom or bring about their salvation. Olumide's father had always feared this curse but had kept it hidden from his son. He had hoped to shield Olumide from the fate that had befallen so many before him. But fate, it seemed, had already set its course. It was on the night of the annual village festival that the curse first showed itself. Olumide had been celebrating with the villagers, his laughter filling the air as he danced under the full moon, his muscles rippling with every movement. He had caught the eye of a beautiful woman, Adiswa, a daughter of a neighboring clan. Her eyes sparkled like the stars, and her grace matched his own. Olumide was immediately enchanted by her. "You are as beautiful as the moon itself," he said, his voice deep and rich. Adiswa smiled, but there was something in her eyes, something that seemed to linger longer than the flirtations of most women. Later that night, as they walked by the riverbank, Olumide felt a strange sensation in his body. It started as a tingling in his chest, then spread down to his abdomen, and finally, to his loins. He felt a heat that was unlike anything he had ever known, an urge that burned deep inside him, almost uncontrollable. Adiswa noticed the change in him, too. Her eyes narrowed as she took a step back. "Olumide," she whispered, "do you know what you carry inside you?" He frowned, confused. "What are you talking about, Adiswa?" But before she could answer, the air around them shifted. The moonlight seemed to dim, and the sound of the river grew louder, as if it were speaking. Suddenly, Adiswa grabbed his arm with a force he had never known from a woman, her nails digging into his skin. "Let go of me," he shouted, struggling. But Adiswa's grip tightened, and Olumide felt something dark rise within him. The heat in his body intensified. He gasped as the feeling surged, and then, to his horror, he felt something inside him, a violent, unstoppable force that seemed to awaken, as if his manhood had taken on a life of its own. Adiswa stepped back, her eyes wide with fear. "It's happening," she said in a trembling voice. "What do you mean?" Olumide demanded, his voice thick with panic. "The curse," she whispered. "You are cursed, Olumide. You carry within you a dangerous force, a power that can't be controlled. It's tied to your manhood, and when it awakens, it will consume everything. Olumide's heart raced. He felt as though his body were no longer his own, as though it had been taken over by an alien presence. He struggled to breathe as the sensation grew more intense. His skin became hot to the touch, and his muscles bulged, his veins swelling as if his body were about to burst. "I need to find my father," he gasped, staggering back. "No!" Adizwa cried, grabbing him again. "Your father knows of the curse, but even he cannot stop it. Only the sorceress can help you." "Where is she?" Olumide demanded. Adizwa's face grew pale, and she shook her head. "She is lost to time. But I know of a way to find her. There is a temple deep in the forest, where the last of her kind resides. But beware, Olumide. The journey will not be easy. The curse will fight you every step of the way." Olumide's desperation was palpable. He could feel the curse beginning to take full hold of him, an insatiable force that threatened to destroy everything he held dear. The weight of his father's legacy, the love of his people, all of it was slipping through his fingers. "I'll go," he said, his voice hoarse. "I have no choice." Adizwa's eyes softened, but she did not try to stop him. She only gave him one last warning before he ventured into the forest. "Remember, Olumide," she said softly, "you are not the first to suffer from this curse. Many have tried to break it and failed. The danger you face is not only physical but spiritual. You must face your inner demons, or else you will never be free." With those words hanging in the air, Olumide set off into the night, his heart pounding in his chest. The moon above cast an eerie light over the forest, and every rustling leaf seemed to whisper of the darkness he was about to face. The path ahead was treacherous, but he had no choice. The curse was growing stronger with each passing moment, and if he didn't find the sorceress, it would consume him completely. The journey ahead was perilous, filled with unimaginable dangers. But Olumide was determined. For the sake of his future, for his people, and for his own soul, he would confront the curse that had plagued his bloodline for centuries. But Olumide was informed by the sorcerer that the curse couldn't be broken, but it could be lowered.